Today we're going to cook an excellent bolognese sauce, and what better to pair it with than spaghetti? Hi there. Let's get straight to it. Bolognese is all about good meat and vegetables. It's not about over-seasoning, so let's dive in. First, I'll dice the bacon. I'm using smoked pork belly, but regular bacon works too. If you want to be truly Italian, you can use pancetta, though honestly, I don't think you'll notice a huge difference. Don't throw away the rind. I'll show you a little trick. I use it to grease the pan. It helps release more of those smoky bacon flavors into the dish, making it even better. Pour some olive oil into the pan and add a knob of butter to melt. Once the butter is melted, add the bacon and sauté it briefly to render the fat. This recipe serves 4 to 6 people, depending on how many second helpings they want. Now for the vegetables. You have 2 choices. Dice them by hand the old-fashioned way, or use a blender. Just be careful. It's important not to turn the vegetables into a mushy paste. You want them coarsely blended? I use 1 onion and 2 carrots. I love vegetables in my sauce, so I usually add twice as much as other chefs might. Another essential ingredient is celery stalks. They give it a fantastic flavor. Chop the vegetables into larger chunks first so they blend better. That's enough. Don't overblend. You want nice, visible bits of vegetable. Add the vegetables to the sautéed bacon and cook them for about 10 minutes. It's better to use a wide pan rather than a deep, narrow pot, so the vegetables can spread out in a thin layer. Now is the time to add the garlic. I just smashed the cloves. There's no need to mince them because the sauce simmers for 2 hours, and the garlic will completely melt away during that time. After 10 minutes, the vegetables are sautéed and we can add the meat. For bolognese, we use a mix of ground beef and ground pork. A 50-50 ratio is usually best. Sauté the meat until it loses its raw red color and turns a light seared brown. You'll know it's ready when it starts to release some fat. Now, pour in about a cup, 2 dl of good red wine. Simmer until the wine reduces and almost completely evaporates. While that's happening, prepare some broth and mix in about 3.5 ounces. $100 of tomato paste. Don't overdo the tomato paste. We're making bolognese, not a tomato soup. You don't want the tomato flavor to overpower the delicate taste of the celery and onions. Once the wine has reduced, pour in the broth and tomato mixture. Now, turn down the heat. We've been cooking at about 80 to 90% power, but now we need to drop it down to about 20 to 30%. Just enough for a gentle simmer. Cover it with a lid and let it stew for about 2 hours. Check on it occasionally, give it a stir, and add a little more water or broth if it looks too dry. What about spices? I add a little pepper, but be careful. Pepper really stands out when paired with vegetables. In my opinion, oregano does not belong in bolognese. It's way too aromatic and it kills the subtle flavors of the carrots, celery, and onions. The same goes for basil and thyme, although they aren't quite as overpowering. Just stick with salt to taste. Two hours have passed, and the sauce is looking great. To finish it off, you can mellow it out with a little milk or cream. I'll leave that choice up to you. Let it simmer for just a few more minutes. Bolognese is traditionally served with pasta. Penne, fusilli, or tagliatelle are all fine, but today I've chosen spaghetti. I toss the spaghetti directly into the sauce so it gets perfectly coated. And that's it. Finito, game over. Lights out and stove off. You can top it with some grated cheese if you like. Well, that's all for today. Enjoy your meal, and I'll see you next time.